I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, June the 18th, 2015. Police in Israel are investigating a suspicious fire that damaged a church in the northern part of the country. The Church of Loaves and Fishes sits along the Sea of Galilee and is a traditional and significant pilgrimage site for Christians. The church was set on fire early this morning, and police have found evidence that suggests arson, including Hebrew graffiti condemning idol worship. A group of 16 Jewish students from West Bank settlements were initially detained but released shortly after with no charges. In the past, right-wing Jewish extremists have carried out similar so-called price tag attacks against Christian sites as well as Arab targets and against the IDF, meant as a protest of Israeli government actions regarding the settlements or in response to terror attacks. Israeli officials condemned today's incident, including Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who said the shocking arson attack on the church is an attack on all of us. Freedom of worship in Israel is a cornerstone of Israeli society and is fully protected by the law, vowing to bring those responsible to justice. And staying with the Prime Minister, Netanyahu today extended holiday wishes to Israel's Muslim community on the first day of Ramadan. He vowed that Israel would continue to be an island of stability and security within the radical Islamic elements in the region. Netanyahu said Israel is the only country in the region that respects the freedom of religion and worship for all religions, adding, "You are an integral part of Israeli society." Authorities in Jordan have arrested the man said to be the mastermind behind a terror attack at a Jewish restaurant in France that took place in 1982 that killed 6 people and wounded 22. Muhammad Suhair al-Abbasi, also known as Amjad Atta, was arrested on June the 1st. He was said to be part of the Abu Nidal Palestinian terror group. Earlier this year, France had issued arrest warrants for Abbasi as well as 2 other suspects in the 1982 attack, named as Mahmoud Kader Abed Adra and Walid Abdul Rahman. Efforts to remove Israeli products from a national supermarket chain in Sweden have failed. Earlier this year, a pro-Palestinian organization called for Coop, a major supermarket chain with over 650 branches across Sweden, to take all products made in Israel over and within the Green Line off of their shelves. After the proposal was adopted by several local branches in the city of Varberg, Israeli ambassador to Sweden Isaac Bachman, together with the Israeli Foreign Ministry, turned to the management of Coop, where he said he didn't talk about the politics of the situation, but rather, quote, "in the name of fair trade and avoiding discrimination of any state." There were also efforts on social media against the boycott, and last week, the chain's national management voted to reverse the boycott, marking a victory against the BDS, or Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions campaign, which seeks to delegitimize the State of Israel. The Anti-Defamation League has asked the French Ministry of Culture and Communication to look into accusations of anti-Israel discrimination at 2 facilities in the country. This follows reports that a group from Tel Aviv University was denied reservations at the Sainte-Chapelle Chapel and at the Louvre, something the museum denied. ADL National Director Abe Foxman wrote to the French Culture Minister that he hopes an independent investigation of the incident will not find any discrimination, but that if it does, the ADL expects those responsible to be held to account. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio spoke out against the rise of anti-Semitism in Europe and in New York at the New York Region annual meeting of the American Jewish Committee held last night. The mayor called for an unmistakable and consistent response to acts of anti-Semitism, calling it the, quote, cancer that was not eradicated at the end of World War II. De Blasio in particular noted the attacks earlier this year in Paris and in Copenhagen, calling them a wake-up call. De Blasio said that with New York having the largest Jewish population of any city in the world, what happens to Jews in other countries hits home, adding, "I hope we can provide a model for protecting our Jewish neighbors." Academy Award-winning actor Michael Douglas received the Genesis Prize in Jerusalem tonight, presented to him by Prime Minister Netanyahu. The prize is awarded annually by the Genesis Prize Foundation in partnership with the Office of the Prime Minister of the State of Israel and the Jewish Agency for Israel. Two individuals who have accomplished major life achievements and are advocates for the Jewish community and for Israel. And looking now at our programming for tonight, Thursday, June the 18th, coming up at 8 o'clock, Tel Aviv University professor David Menashri discusses the Iranian threat in a lecture from ISGAP. At 9 o'clock on the Chaim, Mark Golub sits down with Republican North Carolina Congressman Mark Meadows, who talks about the Iranian threat and about his commitment to Israel. And then at 10, Ilana Stein-Hain from the Shalom Hartman Institute of North America discusses Jewish and non-Jewish views of warfare. And right after this newscast tonight, a look at the UNESCO exhibit on the 3,500-year relationship between Jews and the land of Israel that opened earlier this year at the UN. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, June the 18th, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader.